Hello again, fellow zombie hunters. It is myself, Jonathan, also known as the PC Genie. To spice things up, I'm actually going to do a computer game review today. And the game I shall be reviewing is called Dying Light. It's, well, basically yet another zombie game, but for various reasons which I'll go into in a moment, I quite actually like it. I'd say either my second or first most favourite zombie game that I've ever played. So without further ado,
let's get this done.
In Frying Bright, you play as a main character known as Kyle Crane, who regularly gets called names about birds and construction equipment. How nice. He basically was sent by people called the Global Relief Effort, GRE for short, to stop a dastardly plan by a card-carrying villain known, rather uncreatively, as Rise, not to be confused with Rise from the game Rise about the Roman general Rise, and no, not that, but a different Rise, I guess, like the not falling kind of Rise. Get up, Rise, yeah, even though he doesn't really get up off the floor or fall down much. But anyway, and not to forget, he cannot spell his own name. Yay. Basically, he's a generic bad guy who likes chopping various things off. Simple as that. There are numerous close combat weapons, with various advantages and disadvantages throughout Defying Sight, which generally split into 7 murderous categories. Giant two-handed smashing weapons like sledgehammers, mauls and concrete rebar. Massive two-handed chopping weapons like felling, hewing and double-bitted axes. Nicer two-handed sharps like katana, war scythes and longswords. Nice handy two-handed blunts like, well, baseball bats and even cricket bats, which is likely a tribute to us English. Single-handed slicers like machetes, sickles and hatchets. Single-handed blunt ones like maces, claw hammers and even telescopic batons, for example. And finally, short knives like kitchen knives, kukris, etc. It goes without saying that there aren't any small blunt weapons, except your bare, manly hands. But yeah, there's still quite a variety to choose from, which means that you can equip ideal weapons to suit your own playing style, which is something I really like. One of the features I adore in Spying Tight is parkour, which may sound like a bit of a gimmick, but I consider it to be a great improvement on the original Dead Island games by the same people, so you no longer have to curse your lungs out of those bloody insurmountable knee-high walls and other such ridiculous barriers. You can slide under things, climb objects, vault over fences, use zip lines to shortcut over areas, and even use awnings, car roofs or large bins to cushion your fall. These make for a nice, safer alternative to murdering your way through zombies like I would do, and, well, spice up the exploration enough to make it so much better than some crappy old boring walking simulator. No, really, I actually think it's better than Assassin's Creed. At least the mechanic is, well, to look up what you want to climb, rather than home in on some random lump and not get annoyed at that instead. There is a simple enough crafting system in Dying Light, where you can recycle old weapons like planks and pipes picked up off the floor. You can use bits and pieces collected to create and modify weapons, and have those naughty zombies burnt, shocked, poisoned and bleeding out, making for a novelty. Additionally, you can craft flares to keep those exotic night monsters away, create medical equipment, and even make what are called boosters, which are useful buffs at tactical moments like, say, night vision and stamina assistance, that sort of thing. If you aren't one for close combat and spend your waking apocalypse hours in complete shying fright, you can always use the various projectile weapons instead. There are throwing knives and axes to stick your foes with, bows with the Bozak's Horde DLC with varied arrows, plus of course good old guns. The firearms can sometimes feel clunkier than, say, Battlefield with regards to handling, but they are still serious weapons. I mean, bad guys even put their hands up when you point a shiny boomstick at them. Seriously. Rifles are easy enough to get from Rise for whatever's henchmen if you're able to avoid getting shot 57 times. But shotguns, pistols and SMGs mostly come from shops, so don't forget to stock up on some savings so you can go buying delight with a new loud toy to play with. Now I'll tell you more of my perspective from a historical European martial artist point of view, bearing in mind that I am a crying Luddite when it comes to real life parkour technique. So let's talk about another subject that's tying all right with the gameplay, which is of course fighting. One thing that zombie games surprisingly often fail to implement is any sort of grabbing or grappling, so that zombies flail embarrassingly and occasionally give the player an unenthusiastic lying fight. However, here we can use close combat skills in quite the wrying fight to skillfully break free of grapples, or in timed defense throw zombies about to attack, then using that glorifying insight to destroy their sneaky Zeds. You may have noticed a cool feature in the game, which is that weapons don't always just carve or smash through all the zombies in front of you, but instead, like real weapons, they often get caught on anything not completely chopped or broken through, so that impacts feel much more realistic than in other games where enemies feel like killable ghosts. But this of course excludes those massive devastators the size of children that you can swing until Zed's head literally falls off or explodes in submission. Some smaller things I find can cause amplifying appetite in the game too, such as recently turned viral zombies and antagonist humans actually trying not to die, such as dodging and parrying your weapon strikes in a realistic looking manner, and I already mentioned humans surrendering when you point a gun at them. On top of this, the stupendously powerful exotic volatile monsters make for quite the electrifying night. Speaking of electrifying, electric weapons do much more damage whenever it rains in game 2, which is a very sweet touch and, suffice it to say, very useful in a pinch. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and don't forget to comment below. Tell me, have you bought the game yourself already, or have you not yet? Do you think the game was a bit of a crying sight, or a buying delight? Let me know, and don't forget to subscribe if you feel like it. See more stuff from me, and see this beard a bit more if you please. But until next time, cheers.
Hard to decide, isn't it?